Hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans! Welcome back! I hope you all had a wonderful break. We've got so much fun stuff to talk about tonight as we tackle Season 4, Episode 3, Broken Promises of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Did I introduce a different episode? I thought I said Season 4, Episode 9. Did I say Season 4, Episode 9?
You know, it doesn't matter what you said. We all know what you meant. And
you know in my heart of hearts.
Megan, you broke your promise to be accurate with show and season episode titles. We're talking about the episode Broken Promises, guys. The mid-season
I got the pun. It was
premiere.
really good.
You know what it is, guys? I'm not actually Megan. I'm an LMD, and I'm glitching out a little bit. That's what's happening. So don't blame her. It's faulty hardware. I'm sorry.
I'll get the shotgun axe. You wait here.
Only if you have a zippy one-liner prepared.
Why would I wait in the room, especially after seeing what happened
distract
tonight?
her.
No, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
You know what? Do what you gotta do, but you guys have to have a zippy one-liner prepared. That's all I ask. Anyway, guys, hello, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Welcome back. It has been far too long. I hope everybody had a very happy holiday while we were gone for the break. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, the one and only Tehran.
Yep, that's me. I am Tehran. Literally at I am Tehran all across the board. Social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Please follow me. I'm almost at 1 million followers.
Oh, dang.
If 1 million people follow me. So if you guys go home and just click that follow button, I will be this much closer to my dream of becoming an Instagram hoe. Thank you.
And if you don't know how to spell Tehran, it's on his head.
It's on his head.
Or you
right
can just
there.
watch CNN. It's either way. I'm sure someone's giving a speech about it right now. So please.
The fantastic Zach Wilson.
Hey guys, I'm Zach Wilson on all social media at that Zach Wilson, and yeah, I am excited for this episode.
There's a lot of fun stuff
S.H.I.E.L.D.
to
is
talk about.
back.
It's always so nice
Jesse
to come
Klein could not join us tonight. He is fighting robots elsewhere.
He's
on
being
assignment.
he's being kept in a closet somewhere. It's very unfortunate.
He went from being a savior to being a captive.
Well, he didn't do very well.
Oh, okay.
He tried
So
really
he tried
hard.
to fight and then got
Robots
captured.
are strong, Tehran.
I saw that tonight, and robots are apparently ninjas and everything. It's great.
They have a multifaceted set of skills, and I'm Megan Salinas. That's who I
Are
am
you
exactly.
sure?
Again, I'm glitching out a
glitch.
little bit. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at themenguin. That's TheMenguin. We are also going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVMarvel as well as on the live chat. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, I've got you guys live in chat. Thank you everyone for joining us live for the review.
Yes. So please
let us
feel
know your
free.
thoughts throughout the episode.
We wanna hear your guys' thoughts. And so yeah, send us your thoughts on the episode. Join in the conversation. So yeah, guys, it's been a little while. We got that wonderful little holiday treat with the little yo-yo miniseries.
The yo-yo
that we had.
miniseries that Zach insisted. He was like, "It's not that important, but you need to watch it."
Yeah.
And you were exactly right. Like in every aspect, like it was good, but it wasn't very relevant to everything else. It was just a
You're
fun
not
tidbit.
necessarily going to miss any hard-hitting plot developments, but it was fun.
It was fun.
Was so great to get that little extra bit of character development.
And it helped us get to where
Mac and
Yo-Yo are in their relationship,
which we were missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we wanted, and we didn't need to waste like episode time on necessarily, because it really just like got them to where they should have been like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
ago.
it kind of fast forwarded all the episodes where Yo-Yo was either in the background or just wasn't in at all. It kind of fast forwarded all that development.
Yeah, but we talked about that at length.
We
so you can go
did,
check
we
out
did.
that review within the same playlist as you're probably watching this episode.
Exactly.
Can I just say quickly
Yeah.
that I thought it was like a budget thing? Like, we don't have Yo-Yo on the regular show, so just let's give her a YouTube show. Because we can't, like, we're spending a lot of money. Let's cut the Yo-Yo budget. And then, because she really, even in this episode, she just kind of just like shows up and is there for half a second.
Well, because she got like really injured in the last fight, so it's like logical. Like, she's actually was around more than I expected. I think it was more like we haven't had a reason to use her all season yet, but we like Yo-Yo, so give her a series.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Simmons gets beat up, Simmons gets kidnapped, and she's still in the episode, any episode,
Yeah.
and then Yo-Yo gets a little bit of burn.
Well, maybe
They send, let's transition into that. They send Simmons in when, like, scores of other agents would have been more
Literally,
appropriate for this mission.
She goes in when there are two super enhanced people standing on the plane waiting for her to come back. They're like,
well,
oh no, you got
in
it.
fairness, those are in theory both like very public recognizable
known.
figures. You can't send Mace in undercover.
You can't send the people who were
But-
just on the front page of the news.
But at the
Exactly.
same time, I feel like you can't send the person who was working for this exact group of people in undercover.
He recognizes her
either.
in no time. It's just like, oh, hold on. What?
To be fair,
You know
she
what?
had a bag
One
over her head. She had never
second.
met him.
One-
In her defense,
Apparently, that's the thing. She didn't know who she met because she had a bag.
She had a
over her.
bag.
exactly. But good for him for being like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work.
Quickly.
Very quickly. And you know what would have been, had they taken the time to like take that matter into consideration, they should just send in an intern. Like, if the intern gets taken out, then, oh, well,
Collateral
you lose an
damage?
intern.
You're losing an intern to collateral damage? Okay, I'm so glad that you're not the director. Because that's
Be a
like the
terrible
meanest thing
director.
ever.
In fairness, this was exactly what Radcliffe originally created the LMD program for.
Ooh, yeah.
But the thing is, you don't have to necessarily send a S.H.I.E.L.D. intern.
Just
send
any other agent that isn't Simmons. But she's
Also,
so
it's
good.
the director. It's not like this is like all right, we're sliding this in so the director doesn't know about it. So we've only got a limited amount of
is the
people who are
director
willing
himself.
to. Yeah, he could have any agent. He'd just be like, no, this is an order. Like my little. What did Simmons call him? His Smithers.
Yeah.
He could have been like, you go into
you
that
know-
office.
Hey, Sarah, what are you doing right now? Bring coffee? No, we need you. Come here. Look, trust me.
You know what this was, though, guys? This was a trust-building exercise. That's probably how Mace views it, because he's like, look, trust has been basically abolished between all of us. It's basically, in his mind, the S.H.I.E.L.D. equivalent of that trust fall. Only instead of catching your fellow agents, you guys are getting shot at, and you have to deal with that.
I
sort
have a
of thing.
question, since you guys are experts. What exactly are Mace's powers?
Super strength,
Oh, okay.
it seems to be.
So it's not making really bad tactical decisions? Because I think it really is. I think
that
that's
kind of
his
seems to be
super
it, too.
inhuman power.
He
because he
appears-
does
yeah.
often. As opposed, in stark contrast to Phil, who makes the best tactical decisions of all time at all times.
Well, so Mace, or the Patriot, as he's known in the books, he doesn't have any like super strength, but they effectively just sort of gave him like Captain America's power set to like lower levels. But so he has enhanced strength and like durability, but we can't talk. We'll talk.
talk
There's
about it
more
a
to talk
little
about
bit.
in predictions because
Yeah.
there's a spoiler wall there. So we'll come back to
there's-
this.
Okay.
We'll talk about it in predictions, but there seems to be a little bit more to it than just.
Well, we know-
he's just a guy with super strength.
We've known that there is something else going on there because like there's all these inferences to Vienna and that it's not quite what the public
What it
thinks it
seems.
is. I still maintain I think that it's the government giving him a story to intentionally build him up to be the person that they want him to be. I don't think it's necessarily him.
But that's your personal.
That's my thought. That's
I
my
have
thought.
a theory, but I'm gonna save it for predictions.
Okay.
All right.
So that's my thought on the matter.
But so Simmons' tactical ideas aside.
Here's the thing, though. She's so good at playing undercover and those accents. Come on, guys. Like, you know that they just wanted to hear Gemma put on another accent. She's so good
She
at those.
does. No, she's not. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's always the British actresses, though. We got it a lot with Agent Carter. She tried on, like, numerous different accents.
Oh, because Haley Atwell could pull off
She
everything.
could
Exactly.
pull off
So,
everything.
you know what this was? I feel like this was a little bit of a nod to Agent Carter, because that's exactly what Carter would have
Haley
done.
Atwell could pull off anything, and she could pull off my everything.
I really like that. Okay.
What were we talking about again?
So So, I want to go right now, buy some pearls, and just clutch them after you said that. That was
My goodness.
Mr. Zach. Oh my.
See, you didn't watch the Agent Carter after show. For anyone who watched that, it's like, yeah, Zach, we get it. Move along.
Simmons, I'm surprised Simmons has grown into this brave, bold character, and that's what I've started. I liked her, but now I'm really starting to like her a lot because she has a lot of backbone.
Yeah, she and again they sent her in there, and the director probably had some reservations. He's like, oh, she's tougher than I thought, and Quake is sitting here going like, yeah, dude, she survived on an alien planet. She's been kidnapped multiple times. She went undercover.
3 times. She was like only twice on Earth. To be fair, like that was so gangster.
She went, and let's not forget, guys, she went undercover with Hydra for months.
She did,
and came out not only alive but on top. Gold
Unscathed.
star for Gemma. But yeah, it just happens to be in this one instance, she just didn't know she was talking to somebody who had met her before. That's all. But I do like that, it doesn't take long to get the upper hand. But again, this whole thing is leading up to what we get with Senator Nadir, who, basically takes her brother back home for the purposes of having him assassinated by the Watchdogs. That doesn't seem like a very sisterly thing to do.
But it does seem like a very
fanatic thing to do.
And she's a true believer. And now we see her true dedication. And then she's clearly the antagonist in this story arc. The concept is she turns to the watchdog guy, and it's like, don't ever not trust me again. Like that was such a gangster thing to do and say. She shot her own brother. After watching him have
point blank range
superpowers and knowing she felt her heart, she set it up so she would do it herself. Out of respect, in a way. Like, you guys aren't worthy of killing my brother. I will kill my own brother, but don't ever suspect my dedication. Exactly.
Ugh.
And that's a principle.
I was so mad. Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
No, that was it. I mean, she killed her own brother.
I was so mad at her in this moment. Not just like, oh, you're such an evil character, but like, that was gonna be a cool character.
Yeah.
He's still
VJ
gonna be a cool character.
Yeah,
it's not. VJ is gonna come back.
You think?
I
think he's pretty dead.
I don't think so. I don't think he's dead.
You think that she faked this?
No, I think that he died for intents and purposes of our understanding, but I think that VJ comes back. So that would have been one of my predictions.
It's a good thing he shifted his internal organs at the last possible second.
No, I think that's part. You don't just incubate for 7 months and not have a superpower. And that superpower could easily be resurrection. As we saw, his fighting skills was something we didn't know he had. And I feel like maybe he's going to come out again. It's going to shell out and then come back. It's not the end of VJ.
It does seem like a waste to have a character who stayed in a cocoon for 7 months, who had built up this emotional connection to Gemma, has this high, tie to somebody very high up on the watchdog totem pole. It does seem like kind of a waste to just kill him in the same episode that we're just starting to get to know him. But that's also kind of a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing to do. We get characters all the time who we think are going to be way more significant than they actually are. And then they're dead before, 2 episodes in.
It's also a Marvel Universe thing to do, to bring a character that you think is dead and gone right back.
Yeah,
and so
true.
I feel that VJ's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as like I wanted that character to stick around, like in the moment I was looking at his power set and my brain immediately went to Taskmaster.
Wow.
Just because like he had these skills from nowhere, and like he was watching other people fight, so like that rang true to Taskmaster's like copying ability, and to give this Indian character to Taskmaster, like I think that would have been a cool.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
Just decision to make, but then they just shot him.
Just remember, I'm not counting VJ out. Remember, I said that now. The over under. I'm telling you right now, VJ comes back. That's my opinion.
I think they wanted us to start to have like a connection to him because it made that moment. Like if she had just shot him like in that first scene where she was threatening, we would have been like, all right, well that character's gone.
Well,
like, let's kill the bad person. But now we're like, it's a much more
especially
it hits you harder.
because salvation for him was literally right there, and he turned his back on it.
I have a problem with Gemma and Mace in that scene.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
They were like, we did all we could.
Opposite of true.
No, they did none of what they could. Gemma, like you could tell that his concern when he asked, like, they're all agents. Like, he didn't want to be this.
Yeah.
And granted, he was like defending S.H.I.E.L.D. earlier, but like he didn't want to be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No.
And she should have been like, some of them are, others we respect and leave to do their own thing, which is true.
When was the last time Joey went on a mission?
Well, Joey's technically an agent. He's just like doing
They're
whatever.
all agents.
But, like,
that's not technically true.
No,
all of the
'cause, like,
Inhumans that she is aware of are either enemies or agents, and she told the truth. He made a decision. He went with his sister, and that's well within his rights.
Yeah,
that's how it works. He
course,
went with
but-
his sister.
But my problem, and like, if that was his ultimate decision, I'm not saying that was what I had a problem with. It was
But
that
they
like
could have made a
Gemma
far
didn't
better
even
case.
try to like say like, no, you don't have to, and like, but there are Inhumans out there that are not members of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she didn't even try to say that. And Mace, an actual Inhuman who's standing in front of him, said nothing.
No.
He didn't say word one to this guy. He went like, I'm an Inhuman. I lead a good life. We can help
I'm an
you find
agent. I am an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I
I'm
am
the
the
director.
director of
But
S.H.I.E.L.D.
he's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. If anyone's going to reassure him that he's not going to become a weapon, it's this guy.
That would have been a lie.
Maybe so, but like he didn't
No,
try.
that's the problem, is that it is a lie.
But
And
he didn't try,
VJ
and that
made a choice.
frustrated me.
The choice he made was a very, very logical one. He went with his sister. This isn't a stranger. This isn't the watchdog. He
Except-
went with his sister, who had just spared his life as far as he could tell, even though they had made that promise and he was very well aware. And he went with his sister. And you know what? To be honest, I'm going to call my sister after the show, because after everything that happened, I'll be like, I love you. Don't kill me.
I've got
with my
two
sister,
brothers.
too.
I've got two brothers.
I would've went with my sister,
I'll text
too.
them and be like, I love
That's
you
the
guys.
person. That's the only family that he has, and it's all that he knows. It's not like he didn't know her.
I agree with you up until a point, because yes, if it came to my older sibling
Wait.
being go for it.
I guess our feed cut a scene off.
When
'cause they're-
VJ falls into the ocean.
We didn't. Megan
You
and I
didn't see
didn't
him
see
go in
this.
the
No!
ocean?
What happened?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You guys,
Oh,
look,
I hate you.
I pay attention to the
see.
show,
What happened?
and I watched the show. You know what? You should have watched the show, guys. I'm very disappointed.
did
I'm
watch
a real
the
fan.
show.
You guys don't want to be real fans? Oh, look at that shirt. Just take that off, because it's not real. I should be wearing that shirt. No, okay. So what happens is he falls into the ocean, and they show some type of activity happen when they show him all the way down.
Ish,
All right. All right.
Okay,
so
this
apologies
changes-
Into a cocoon, and he gets into.
I clicked away from the chat for like a minute,
So I think it's a resurrection.
and then I clicked back, and they're all
That's why I was
yelling.
surprised when you guys
right.
were like,
well,
this is
he's
now,
dead.
he's dead. And I was
dead.
like,
no.
why?
no,
And I was about to
okay,
bring
yeah.
up when you said.
Guys,
Remember, I was like, I was about to say something. I was gonna be like, he
Apologies.
fell into the ocean. And why
Sometimes-
would they show that scene if he was just gone?
Sometimes this happens. I've definitely been on a show before where the last 5 minutes of an episode got cut off. So my friend and I missed an entire fight scene, and a
Wow.
bomb was dropped. Well, not a literal bomb, but like an information bomb was dropped at the end of the fight scene. So recordings get cut off sometimes, guys. We apologize. Thank you for correcting us, because it completely changes my opinion.
Tehran
He's
watched the
probably
East
alive.
Coast feed. Megan and I watched the West Coast feed. Apparently, that was where we made a
Don't
mistake.
listen. What it is first of all, I'm an East Coast guy from DC. Second of all,
Well, you know, it's the right coast. But
yeah, and second of all, let's just say this: I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. more than both of them. Apparently, I mean,
Clearly.
Taskmaster. No one cared about Taskmaster, but this
I
scene was important.
do want to put a pin in this scene.
oh,
though.
then my
is
Taskmaster
that-
theory lives,
It
though.
really is. When you said that, I was like, wow, that's a really good observation.
And that's
I like it.
he could go so villain.
It would be with
the
his
sister
sister
shooting
having
him.
betrayed him. And like I said, I agree with you to a point, except for he got in a helicopter with her, and then the men who tried to kill him
Sure,
against her orders also hopped in there with him. I would have been like, peace out. I love you, bro. Later. That's what I would have done. However, I'm afraid we have to put a pin in this particular scene right now because there's something else on the Watchdog side of things that we need to talk about, and it's that even though these guys are taking orders from Nadir, there is somebody higher up on the totem pole.
The superior.
The superior. Do we have any thoughts on who the superior might be? Because looking like doing a quick, doing our due diligence and taking a gander, there are a couple different superior things in the Marvel universe. I personally hope it's the superior foes of Spider-Man. So whoever knows what that particular comic series.
But
it's so funny.
It's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be Superior Spider-Man. It's just a word. I don't think it's gonna be the one from the comics.
It could very well just be a nickname they're giving him, but there is a person named Superior from the Earth 616.
Yeah, he's like he's like a 10-year-old kid who claims to be the son of the leader, which is a Hulk villain with a giant head. And like
the Green Hulk.
And so this character has like telekinesis. Like he's a powered individual. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't ring true.
It doesn't fit, especially because we get so little stuff from like the Hulk side of things. We get Talbot, and that's about it.
The Marvel Wiki does list his occupation as terrorist, so
maybe
there's a lot of terrorists under that watch list.
I think this is going to be similar to in season 2 when we had help me out here.
Hive? No, wait, that's
not Hive.
3.
That was season 3. Because we had the fake out.
Season 2 was so long ago.
Yeah.
Which particular fake out are you talking about?
The villain that we were.
I keep thinking of like the Clairvoyant, and then it turned out to be
the Clairvoyant.
Oh yeah, that's season 1.
Exactly.
That was season 1.
Season 1.
Exactly.
That's what I meant.
That's how long
But they
ago
kept
it
playing
was.
with it. They kept playing with it. And
what if it's Mace? And that's why he didn't say anything when he was there. And he's just like, I'm actually a superior.
Maybe.
I don't think that's what
I mean, whoa. It's possible. Is it likely?
It would
Probably
make that
not.
conversation between him and Nadir when she's trying to blackmail him. It wouldn't make any sense unless she's not aware of the superior's identity. It could be yeah.
Well, that's why I compared to the Clairvoyant, because I think it's going to be a thing where they don't necessarily know who they're working for or what their purposes are. My first thought when I heard it was a Kree.
That's a good.
Interesting.
That's a
Because
good thought. Because the Kree wanted to destroy the Inhumans.
Yeah, just trying to think like who would want to kill the Inhumans? Like
Apart from racists.
I don't feel and I don't feel like you don't eat like somebody yes, the superior sounds like. That could easily be the head of a very racist organization.
Now that I think about it.
Let me throw out a political idea here when I'm watching this stuff. So let's not forget the Inhumans are superior powered human beings, right? With abilities, right? Okay, superior. So if I'm a normal, average human, right, and we see people afraid of others, well, then maybe I am a little afraid of super beings who could at any time decide otherwise. So I remember when I was watching the X-Men movie, which is completely out of this range, and the senator just wanted them to be registered, and everyone's like making all these connections to being registered, but at the same time you have the ability to shoot nuclear weapons out of your eyes. Maybe someone should know about this power. It shouldn't just be unchecked and ungarnished. It should be registered in some way. So I can understand. I'm not saying I'm not for the death of the Inhumans, but then again, and also I think if I lived on Earth's 616, I'd be really jealous if I was not an Inhuman. I'd be like, man, he can fly.
Yeah, like in a world where I'm reading comic books, that guy can fly through the air.
And like
that's
everyone but me.
And that's some of the interesting like sociological stuff that you can get into with these powers is like there's like power envy.
Yeah,
of course.
And then but like that, and that's one aspect of it, and the whole idea of do you register like. It's that perfect thing because like people think that's like people in the real world have this view of certain people like certain people who are different from them, they're like, oh, they're dangerous, so we have to register them.
Sure.
And like, yes, and this just makes it very more clear cut. Like, that man has a nuclear button on his finger, versus like we think because of what he believes in
Very
that he
different.
has a nuclear. But it's like and that's what I love about stuff like this, because they're very clearly like playing
Making
that.
real
What the
world
problem is.
parallels.
And people make this parallel, well, this is what happened, for example, to Jews or to gays. No, I don't know any gay person that has a nuclear bomb in their pants, and I don't know any Jews that can shoot, nuclear laser beams out of their eyes. So that's the difference to me. But if there was a person, if I own a gun, it should be registered. So I could understand the argument that these powerful beings should be registered and determined for their dangerousness.
And that's exactly what the UN has done here, and why they're like
it doesn't matter what side of the argument you fall on at this point. This is the reality of the world in the MCU.
Why I think VJ is scared to go with them is like, ultimately, I was not upset that he went with his sister. I was more just like, Mace could have done something.
Yeah.
Mace just looked ineffective.
It's entirely possible.
Mace the superior.
It's entirely possible that like he had more lines that just ended up getting cut for time. And they're like, it's the focus is on Gemma and that emotional
Gemma
connection
too.
there.
She could have also done. It was also that they finished that scene up with like, we did everything we could.
That's what bothered me, is because they said we did everything they could, but
it was just because they didn't.
And I bring in the sociological stuff because I look at this, I'm going to take into account that this is like a real world thing. So it bothered me when Sky, who I love her, she is my
Daisy.
Carter
Daisy
to
now.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
It's Daisy now.
Listen, you guys keep saying that.
Respect
but
your
it
life
doesn't
choices,
change.
man.
We
That
have a
doesn't
Sky
change.
jar anytime we call her Sky by
She's
accident.
my Sky, okay? I love her. Like, I would hold her hand and be like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, this is my girlfriend. Why? What's her name? You don't need to know her name. It's my girlfriend. Like, I would never, I just love her.
And she'd be like,
That
babe,
was
do
a
you know
great
my name?
moment too with Smithers, who was just one of calling him. My name's Daisy, not according to the press release.
Exactly. I loved it. Loved it. So when she goes in the house and is like, well, if you have nothing to hide, then you won't mind us looking around. No, I do mind you looking around. That's why we have things like warrants. I know it sounds silly, but I'm like, no, that's not a good argument.
Yeah, that was
why.
a really evil, like,
It was.
that was like a jerk cop line.
Exactly. That was like, exactly. And it bothered me because it's like, no, you don't have any authority here. Whether you're right or wrong is not the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the where they are right because she's working with a terrorist organization, but to the letter of the law, they have no right to come in here unless they have concrete evidence of it.
And that's why we have those accords. It's because that's kept happening with the superheroes, is that the superheroes are going in and just doing what they want. And there are treaties and there are laws and there are innocent until proven guilty. And even though the stakes are much higher now, they still exist because there's a slippery slope.
Kind of seems short-sighted in terms of the director going down himself to take care of this. But I guess the thought process was that time was of the essence and that this man's life was in danger. Anyway, we've talked about this particular side of the story.
Last thought
Go
on
for
the
it.
Superior is that maybe it is somebody connected to the royal family.
That's a thought, especially since, we have stuff coming down the line.
My first thought, like Maximus, if they wanted to start threading that super early, depending on what the story that they're going to do with the Inhumans in the fall is, they might want to start putting that together now. Although they have said that the Inhumans will not be connected to S.H.I.E.L.D. directly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of that. You get little nods, you get, winks here and there. Again, you can watch Daredevil and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. completely separately and, be relatively, caught up on everything. Anyway, talking about that, before we move, because we talked about the Watchdog side of things, we haven't even talked about the robot side of things, guys. The evil killer robot side of things.
I don't know who you're referring to.
Robots.
She's an android.
That's true.
So
there's
that actually,
a distinction.
that's a little racist of you.
You're right.
She's an android.
You're right. Nadir's painting with a broad stroke, and so am I. Again, I'm glitching. I apologize. It's very inconsiderate of me. I'm sorry if anybody was triggered by that. Anywho, before we get into that, though, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about iTunes. folks, thank you so much to everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you, and it is the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. Honestly, it blows my mind every single time that we have an international audience, and we really appreciate everybody from all around the world who takes the time out of their day to go to iTunes to rate and subscribe, and it warms our hearts. And if you guys do that, you might even get a shout out on the show. Do we have any new reviews after from the break?
Just one.
Is it from
Phil Coulson's left hand. Last episode, you all were questioning the real identity of Phil Coulson's left hand. Is it someone from the studio, from the show? Is it Clark Gregg himself? I'd lose my mind. No, sadly. But I am better than all those people. You all are missing the most obvious answer, and that is that it legitimately is Phil Coulson's left hand, which, of course, I am. Nice try, AfterBuzz.
I love this guy.
One day we will find out who you are.
I love this human being.
Well, this hand.
How amazing
Piece
would
of a
it be
human being.
if it was Stanley?
That would be amazing.
If
I mean, it's
Stanley's
weird.
watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that would be amazing.
Hilarious.
And watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show.
Yeah.
That would be the best.
It would be a Stanley thing to
Look,
do.
he's
It
like
would.
95. Like, if he's watching the show at all, like, great.
Yeah, fantastic. So yes, thank you guys so much. Again, rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you, and you'll get a shout out on the show next time.
So, Ada. As Mac puts it, have you seen no movies from the...
Have
the
you
last
seen
20
from the last
years.
30 years? And even Yo-Yo is like, hasn't anybody seen some robot movies from the 80s?
Even Yo-Yo, who I feel like we need to point out, did not speak English a year ago.
All of a sudden knows names of movies. And
All of a sudden it's like, yeah, the
movie that's
Terminators and Salvation.
Salvation,
Like,
yeah.
has like inside knowledge about which ones were good.
To be
is
fair, she's
fire.
been hanging out with Mac and with Daisy a lot. Daisy makes all sorts of pop culture references, and I feel like she and Mac probably had one or two movie nights.
Mac definitely went through the movie list. He listed every movie reference you could in every single scene, and I loved it. I loved it all the way through.
Yeah, has anybody seen that one he was talking about the like chopping something where the kids got trapped in the mall with the killer robots? If anybody knows where I can find that movie, I would love to sit down and watch
I mean,
it.
I actually went through so I know the movies that he was talking about. Which one are you speaking on?
It was the one towards the end where Yo-Yo's like reading a list off of her phone. She's like, "Have you seen this one?" Like this really weird, obscure B horror movie. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Chopping Mall.
Yeah, I think that's what they called it. I if anybody happens to know where I can find that, I'd love to know.
I love the Lawnmower Man one. I
The
just
Lawnmower
like,
Man. Exactly what happened in the Lawnmower Man. Great reference.
Like does after and not to mention that after an entire episode of like and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I love that they like kind of like wrapped that like kind of B storyline up with just the perfect one-liner, because his discussion was all movie oriented, and then he dropped a classic like action, like 80s action movie one-liner as a way to like just put a little bow on it. I just thought it was fantastic. I didn't even mind.
No, it was
fun.
perfect
It was
for
good.
Mac. This is like so his character. So much fun. Like this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like we have killer robots on the loose, which according to an interview that Joss Whedon gave, this is something that they wanted to do for a while on S.H.I.E.L.D. because LMDs are such an integral part of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comics that like it was only a matter of time before we got here. But they wanted to get enough distance, I think, between this and the robots in the MCU, like Ultron.
Yeah.
So that like you weren't like, didn't we just do this?
I feel like this was a good time to do
I think
it.
it's far enough. I mean, look, this is a classic story. Like robots run amok.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, let's stop calling them robots, okay?
Are you
Android.
offended by the fact that
There's
we
an
keep
android.
calling them robots and not androids?
Okay, I mean, even the Lawnmower Man, which I love the reference, that's not about androids, okay? Anyway.
But yeah, so again, Ada Or so we like. She seems throughout the episode to have developed emotions and a consciousness, and we see her kind of going through these motions. Like when she's tending to a incapacitated May, she seems to be feeling compassion and regret, and when she goes in, when she attacks Fitz, she seems angry, and I gotta say, I was 100% buying into that narrative that was being spun, that she had acquired these emotions as a result of reading from the Darkhold. Were you guys surprised when that ended up not being the case?
I was surprised because I did buy into the Darkhold narrative.
Yeah, it made sense.
But I wasn't surprised that was, like, we saw who the traitor was. I wasn't surprised at that point.
To me, this was the Radcliffe reveal was a perfect twist because I was surprised. I did not see it coming, but as soon as it was revealed, it made perfect sense.
Exactly.
It fit. It wasn't like those twists where you're like,
I was never a Radcliffe fan. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I thought he was.
I mean,
were you not a fan? Like you didn't trust him?
No, I didn't trust him. I just did not.
He helped Hive. He was keeping this project secret from S.H.I.E.L.D. until
These
he
things.
couldn't.
He held Hive under extreme duress.
Did he though? Was it though?
And even as I say that, I'm like,
Interesting. See, I just
Kinda
always
duress.
felt that he was a sneaky person, and I never really fully trust people who are too nice. So even Fitz, by the way, I definitely don't trust you at all. Just to let you know. Like, to let you know. That's why I always
Megan
like
is.
watch.
Appreciate your
I'm like,
honesty.
Oh, here, let me make sure you go to your car, just so you're not hiding in the backseat of my car to murder me. I just always just letting you know. So
that's
you're
what
too
that's
nice.
about.
You're too nice. So when even Fitz has yelled and come out, but Radcliffe's always been like, oh, I don't know. Oh, we're not supposed to make androids. Like, it was just like every step is just, he's too nice and he's too willing, and I just don't trust him. And now I feel that distrust came to light.
it does seem like he was corrupted by the Darkhold, though. Like that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
I don't.
Or
I
his
think.
want of the Darkhold.
Well, he didn't have this like. He wasn't going this direction until he got that like glimpse, as brief as it was. It was just that glimpse of the Darkhold.
Or
Yeah.
he always had been, and he was just a very
Well,
good. It's not like he created another Ada out of nowhere.
We talked about this a lot in the previous story arc, where especially with Eli, what the Darkhold brings out of you is always there, and it's a part of you, but it just happens to amplify the absolute worst parts of you. So of course he has this kind of sneaky nature and this ambition and this desire for knowledge and scientific progression. I mean, the way we were introduced to him last season was real weird and real upsetting. And so you take those kind of those character flaws, you drop demon dark magic, into the mix, and of course he's gonna do something like this. It makes complete and total sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just think he was bad through and
I think
through.
he was bad,
and he
and
just opportunist.
this was an opportunity for him to explore more of his evil side. He knew he wasn't supposed to make Ada. He did. He made
fair.
another. Like, there are other Adas. And at this point, I don't even think there's just another one. I think there's an entire fleet of Adas waiting out there.
Yeah,
He
it's
also
possible.
made another May. Okay. He made another. It can't be easy to make an android. It must be time consuming. I just cannot imagine.
Unless you build androids to then build androids.
But it still would be time consuming, and you have to be extremely sneaky, and
I think
finances. I mean, I just feel that. I don't know. I just take this
I think
for
that
granted.
comes down to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's the curious scientist, and that's the way that I always read him. Because I think that's been his character the whole time. Is that like when we met him, he was into like bio augmentation.
Sure.
And that's a curious scientist who's just like trying to push the boundaries of what's possible. And so
Until
when
you
he
start
starts
murdering people
yeah,
in order
well, he starts working with Hive, and he isn't the one that's murdering people. He is technically assisting somebody who is killing people, but I think to him, he's like, well, look, I'm just doing my work. What somebody else does with it is his business. I don't think he necessarily approves,
and
but he
also
also
this guy
is just
will
like,
kill me if I
yeah,
don't.
but he's
Yeah.
also like, well, it's a good excuse to do what I wanted to do. So he's sort of just like, he's not excited about it, but he's sort of embracing what he's been being given. And
Turning into the skid.
And I think that with just the same thing with the androids is like he figured out how to do it. He's like, I could do it. I could do something that no one's done before, except Tony Stark. That one. But like he sees something possible in front of him, and I think he just like he can't help himself but do it. And the Darkhold has taken that darkness that I think you're right is like inside all of us. I mean, just look at Daisy and all that eyeliner.
Which looks fabulous, by the way.
Don't talk about my wife, please. I appreciate it. Thank you,
but
Sky,
I'm saying like,
you.
but like Daisy went down a darker path this year, and we saw like that everybody, even like our lightest characters, are capable of darkness if they get pushed the right way.
Yeah.
And I think this is the Darkhold saying like it's digging and finding that darkness and just spreading it out.
I
and
think
like
you're
bringing
giving
it to
him the
surface.
benefit of character, which I'm not. I'm saying that he actively went after the Darkhold before the Darkhold got a hold of him.
Well, he didn't know it
think that-
existed before that.
I think that when he did find out, it's a very Oppenheimer sense of psychology that you're using. Like, oh, I'm just doing my job, but you know what you're doing. He's not a stupid person. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's creating. And remember, even the charade of Ada, how did you change? And then you find out, no, he programmed her to be this way and helped create this.
And not to mention that, to kind of tie into your theory, like, he's very good at putting on that performance when he's talking to Fitz about, like, oh, she's really feeling these things. Like, that was good. I was convinced. And that was the whole point, was he was putting on this, much like Ada is mimicking emotions, he's like putting on this front to sell a particular story that it looks like all of the agents have bought into. Again, regardless of where it happens to stem from, he is our current, like, he is the current one to take down in terms of the LMD side of things. Because until he gets caught, everything is going to, he could build 1,000,000 Adas. But I did think it was a great twist that the Darkhold didn't actually, emotionally affect her or give her a soul or any of that. I thought that was a good twist, that she's just still a robot, just mimicking emotions the way she was programmed to. What we should talk about, too,
Android.
though... Yes, my apologies. You're going to have to remind me every single time.
It's because my mom's an android, and so I take it real personal.
Twist!
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to insult your mother. My apologies. But who we do have to talk about is Android May. I have a question. Does she even know that she's an android? Because
I didn't get that. I didn't think so by the end of the episode. I did it first, but I think that she is, because that's smart programming. Like, if you don't tell them that they're undercover, how would they ever know? Or you can't spill the beans if you don't know.
That's
About
what
the
makes
beans.
them a very good Manchurian candidate, is because they don't know that they are the sleeper cell.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought that Coulson knew for like a while, like right up until Ada put her hands on the Darkhold. I was like, Coulson's got this. He knows what's up. And then she grabbed him like, oh, maybe not.
maybe he didn't know. It's like, my man Coulson, he's got this, and I'm sure he's got a plan to counteract this any second.
Did you feel like they were gonna kiss in the cell? I felt like for half a second.
I'm really worried he's gonna make out with that android.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Ugh.
Like, did you see that look he was giving down the barrel of the robot's eyes? He was just like, oh.
If we ever get out of here.
Now we did get out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were having dinner at the end.
They're having a moment, and I think that is going to be a twist in the plot later, but it's also going to make Phil regress even more, because he's very emotionally unavailable, and that's going to hurt him more.
Yeah, and all of their previous relationships have ended very badly, and if, like, his first real, like, romantic steps with May are with an android version of her, and she's not actively participating, that's not gonna set a great precedent for their relationship. I still ship it. That's okay, though. Anyway, so guys, is there anything else about this episode you want to touch on or talk about?
Because we
have to talk some news and gossip.
All right,
for
let's
sure.
hit that news button.
AfterBuzz TV News.
The writers and showrunners of the show dropped some info on us this week that so we thought that LMD was going to carry us through to the end of the season, but it's not. They announced that in the spring we're going to get a little bit of a break. I don't know how long or exactly when it's going to be, but we're going to get a break, and then we're going to have a third arc. So it's going to go the Ghost Rider, LMD, and then mystery third.
Interesting
Piece of the season.
Big question. I've
always been a fan of the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. does multiple arcs in a season. I think it's the only way you can do a 22-episode show nowadays, because all the shows that try to just do a 22-episode season with one arc, it's like, all right, come on, just get to it.
It takes a long time for
get
that
to
arc
it.
to wrap up.
By episode 13, you're like, I know where you're going, just get there.
Yeah, even like the 12-episode seasons on Netflix will still break themselves into two separate arcs a lot of times.
Sometimes. The Marvel shows absolutely have like a
distinct, end of Act 1 sort of thing. Now, of course, the main question here is why try to stuff in 3 arcs into one season, that it being season 4. And my theory is that maybe they're stuffing 3 arcs into one season is because we're not getting an official season 5. Which
don't like your theory,
I
Megan.
don't like it
I'm
either.
so sorry.
I don't like it either.
If you want to call my mother a robot, do that. This is offensive to me. What you're saying now is actually offending me even more than this.
I'm not saying I like it, but I'm saying that with all of the budgetary slashing that ABC was doing last year, you know, we all kind of sat there holding our breath going, we're not really sure what's going to happen with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It would be such a waste for them to cancel it just before it gets syndicated in season 5.
Well, the thing is,
makes no
Agents of
sense.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is already being syndicated. Like, it's already big enough, like, as a Marvel property that other networks will pick it up. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get that. That means that it doesn't need to hit that 100 episodes that most shows do in order to hit the syndication. It will get out there regardless. I hope that they give it a 5th season. I think a 5th season would be a great. I think it's a perfect amount for this show.
Yeah,
as much as I want it to go on forever, I think like there isn't going to be a natural conclusion. If it has to be the last season, yes, give them that third arc. Give them the chance to finish the story that they started and close out any loops that they want.
How about we're just getting a third arc and we shouldn't question a gift horse in its mouth?
We shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth,
and we should just accept it and enjoy it.
It could also just be as simple as the LMD story didn't take as many episodes as they originally thought it would, and so they're like, all right, we got like 6 episodes left. Let's just do another story.
That happens with television sometimes. You know, stuff that other showrunners could stretch out and make really slow and laborious over the course of like 4 or 5 seasons, you know, other series can wrap up in 2, depending on like just how quickly you end up going through storylines.
Yeah, and because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was to go away, like the title Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't mean we couldn't like get a Ghost Rider show
or
and a Secret
Yo-Yo
Warrior
spin-off,
show,
yeah.
and like there's a million other things you can do.
The sky's the limit.
I don't know if there will be a Yo-Yo spinoff. I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, we got that.
We got
that.
it.
But regardless,
fun.
all right.
But yeah,
So before
point
we
being.
wrap up, should we do some quick predictions so that we
Yes,
can talk about
absolutely.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Zach, you sound like you have something.
All right. Well, the big thing in the teaser was that they showed Mace with a briefcase that Talbot, who's coming back, is like,
He's always got that briefcase.
yeah, why has he always got that briefcase?
What's in the box? So what? Thoughts on what's in the
I
briefcase?
have no idea.
I have a thought. I'm thinking maybe he's not actually an Inhuman. Maybe that what's in that suitcase is supplies from the government for super soldier serum that only acts like as a temporary thing. So in order to be an Inhuman, he has to constantly be taking the serum.
Which would lead to my superior theory even more, but I think that's a really good theory.
It's just a thought. I don't know why he would feel the need to fake that, but like it's a good way of having like the government pretend like, hey, look, an Inhuman is the face of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, when actually it's a guy with a completely different agenda.
Interesting. I really like that theory. I don't buy as much into the superior idea, because like we already did the like, is he evil? And then we sort of are in a place where we're like, no, he's not evil. He may not always agree with our people, but he's not evil.
Okay.
I think as the Patriot, he's going to be on the side of the government, like in a bad way, but like the government in a good way.
For me, the serum theory that I have ties into the whole thing about like he's a fake poster child. Like, you know, every story about him has been embellished and it's all for PR. So in my mind, that's what fits, and that's what's in the suitcase. Anybody else have any
Some
thoughts and predictions?
I have. First of all, I don't know if you guys caught the whole Ada sex thing. That I like. They were like, "Oh,
we're just
hold
friends.
on, let's act like she's hot." But here's the thing: the Ada sex thing. I think there's something there, and it's gonna get explored.
Gross.
I think it's a bigger point than we're realizing right now.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, we are at a later time slot, guys.
I mean,
we can be a little bit more risque.
I think there's something there. Why foreshadow that in the way he acted? And also, I think that it would be a really good twist, and it's just like random, if Radcliffe ended up being an android himself, and that there was more to that as well.
Well, at this point, he may very well be more machine than man, because we have no idea how many bio enhancements he had already given himself prior to like being taken by Hive and then getting recruited sort of unwillingly into S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, he may very well be mostly machine at this point. So, I don't know. Who knows? Does that just about cover it?
Yeah, I think I need to go rewatch the last 5 minutes of this show. Thank you, television DVR.
I know.
I don't know what our
I'm a little upset.
services here. I can't
I'm a
yell at them
little
directly.
upset. Well, anyway, hopefully we'll be able to watch the full episode next week. That would be fantastic. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for staying up late and watching with us. Zach, where can people go if they want to find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. Big thing I wanted to plug, shout you guys out about, or tell you guys about. I just released my first comic book.
Oh, wow. Where can we find that?
It's on Comixology. If you go onto Comixology and just search, it's called Kid Cop. It was written by myself and my writing partner, Greg Goodness. It's a quick little mini. It's only 99 cents. It was literally as cheap as they would allow us to make it. And it's a fun little ridiculous comedy book that is also incredibly violent. But if you guys read it and if you like it, I would love to hear from you. So send me some of your thoughts on it. And like I said, Kid Cop, Comixology.
That's awesome.
I'm going to definitely check that out. I'm going to check it out, and you can find me at the Laugh Factory every Monday and Thursday at 10, and every Friday and Saturday at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach. So Mondays and Thursdays in Hollywood, and Fridays and Saturdays in Long Beach, and at I Am Tehran, all across the board, social media, meaning Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Please find me. Please follow me. Please like everything I do.
And don't forget to follow Jesse at JessKlein1 on Twitter. I think he's on Instagram for that as well. And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Roll credits.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.